Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Jacobs, and you're listening to Juiced Sports Radio. A nice little pre-holiday edition for you as we prepare for the NBA Christmas holiday season. A great batch of NFL games on Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, all kinds of games. Joining me, as always, is NFL expert Mike Kay. Mike, we witnessed a strange game on Monday Night Football yesterday with the 49ers prevailing over the Steelers 20-3. It was an impressive win, even with an injured Roethlisberger, clearly not 100%. You have two blackouts and just craziness. So the question becomes, Green Bay loses on Sunday to the Chiefs. The 49ers win. If the 49ers win their last two games and the Packers lose their last two, albeit as unlikely as that sounds, San Fran would somehow be the number one seed in the NFC. So my question to you, is San Francisco the number one threat to the Packers in the NFC?
No, I don't think so at all. I think they got off hot. I believe they went 9-1. I know they're a very good defense against the run. The problem there is that the passing game is the Packers' strength, and outside of Carlos Rogers, their secondary isn't that great. If you tell me you want Dante Whitner as your starting safety, I'm thinking you're kind of crazy. Either that or you're a bottom-feeding team.
And they're 21st overall. They're allowing 239.6 passing yards a game, so I agree. Run defense is definitely their strength.
Right, because you got to look at their two linebackers, their two inside linebackers, Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, who both should go to the Pro Bowl this year, no doubt. But Willis is out. He's been injured. He didn't play last night. I think it'll be interesting to see how long he's out, which would definitely make them less effective against the run, despite how successful they were yesterday against the Steelers. But to answer your question, I don't think they are. I think the Saints are by far the Packers' biggest opponent.
How much of that stems off of what New Orleans did to Green Bay the first week of the season, and how much of it has to do with how New Orleans has played pretty much after that debacle in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, the Saints have had some hiccups against the Rams and the Buccaneers. I actually think that was the Buccaneers' last victory, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, back in October.
But, every team has their bumps, and some teams are due losses. I think the Packers were due a loss, and they lost to the Chiefs. Not that the Chiefs didn't outcoach Mike McCarthy or that their defense didn't play phenomenal. I think the Packers were due a loss, and I think the Saints got their losses out of the way early. I think Sean Payton's still a top 3 to 5 head coach in the league. They have equal playmakers. Actually, they have more playmakers if you consider the fact that Jimmy Graham is having the best season of a tight end ever, yards-wise, and he's putting up touchdowns, too. You have their vast array of running backs. I think they have 4. Chris Ivory, Pierre Thomas, Darren Sproles, and Mark Ingram. And those guys can all make plays. They got
Well, let me flip the switch. Let me flip the script on you for a second. You look at the 49ers, you look at the Saints. I agree. The Saints probably, just given the fact that they've won a Super Bowl recently, that they've got a battle-tested quarterback, a battle-tested coach. They've got a great home field advantage. I agree they probably are probably considered a better team right now. However, if New Orleans had to travel to San Francisco, which is very possible for a divisional playoff game, could you see the 49ers winning that game?
Definitely. I mean, it's hard to travel. It's any given Sunday, as we learned this past weekend, but yes, it's tough to travel from the east to the west, and for some reason, this year, East Coast teams are having, and historically, they normally have a tough time going out west. We saw what happened when they went out west last year, and they lost to the Seahawks. I wouldn't put it past them losing to the 49ers in the west. Do I think that the Niners are the better team? I don't think so. Do I think they're better coached? Probably. It's probably an equally coach team, but Sean Payton's got the experience.
Can the 49ers win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith as quarterback?
Yeah, I think they can, as long as the Packers have lost to another team. If it's San Francisco versus the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Lions, they've proven they can beat those teams. They've proven that they can, or if they haven't beaten them, they were close. So all it is coaching up from there.
Is it one of the great turnarounds in recent memory, not statistics-wise, but performance-wise, how Alex Smith has become the leader of the 49ers offense? I know Frank Gore and Vernon Davis make it go. But the fact that Smith is the one who's keeping everything in place. This was a guy that everyone wanted to run out of town a 7-year veteran, the bright guy out of Utah. People were like, well, if he was smart, he would leave the game because he's terrible. Well, all of a sudden, he's at the forefront of a really good team. And while I agree that defense is their strength and running game is definitely their strength as well, he's a pretty good game manager, and he definitely reminds me a little bit of Trent Dilfer. Does he fit that mold? The fact that 49ers are a really good running team, see the Ravens of 2001 or 2000. The fact that their defense is really gritty and tough, and that he's like that game manager. Is that who you would compare this team to right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, they had much better coverage guys, and they had a lot less I guess Vernon Davis would be your Shannon Sharp. Yeah, I guess you can compare. I think he's better than Trent Dilfer. I just think that he's had to deal with a new offensive coordinator every year. It's hard to learn all those systems and then constantly learn new ones. He was great with Norv Turner. That's what got Norv Turner the job with the Chargers, that he's about to lose. He was good when Mike McCarthy was there his rookie year. I just think, he wasn't great, but he showed some flashes there. He had a really tough time his first year, but he looked like he was going to progress. I think this team isn't as good defensively. They do have their own version of Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis, but I don't think they're strong enough in the secondary or on their D-line to really be compared to the Ravens.